Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day. It is week 2 and it has been a rather interesting first week, beginning of second week. I hope you're all doing all right. I know that you have heard by now that we have gone back to virtual online only instruction, which means any classes that we're meeting on a restricted basis will now move to the online format. I'm sure it might be affecting some of you, and so I know that can be stressful to make that change. It's stressful for the faculty too. So I think if you just let them know and talk with them and chat with them, they're probably, scrambling and still trying to work out the details of that shift. I'm not sure if some of you are being affected by the on-campus housing shift. Everyone will have to be off campus by Sunday. So if that is affecting you and you need some more time to get some work done, just go ahead and reach out to me and I'll be happy to talk with you and help you in any way that I can. I know that every semester I say this for the last 5 years, it's a stressful time, and I'm just hoping that you're okay and that that you're just being gracious to yourself, and I'm hoping that you're trying to be flexible, and I'm just really thinking about you and hoping that you're doing well. Please reach out to me if you just need information about anything going on campus or you just need someone to talk to. I'm happy to spend a little time with you, and I'm reachable through Zoom, so send me an email and we can set up an appointment. Other than that, we're on week 2, and I wanted to talk about our reading this week, which is one of my favorite articles of all time. It's getting a little older now, but I still think it's really relevant. And this article is called Reading Classrooms as Text, and it's by Jennie Nelson. And there's a lot of really great nuggets in here I think you'll really enjoy reading about. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough. I'm sorry. You'll enjoy reading about the student experience. There's a lot of excerpts from student writing and how they responded to teachers' works, and I think part of that's going to be really interesting to you, and that might be an area you want to dig in. But one of my favorite parts of the article is when Jennie Nelson starts thinking about the idea of the professional student. She's also talking with another educator out there named Lynn Corno, and they're talking about this idea that students come in with seat knowledge. They come in with the idea of how to be a student. And what's really interesting about that portion of the text is it really clearly says that that can be really good because it can help students navigate the classroom and they can figure out how to do things, and they know how to be a student. But also that being a student and that knowledge of the classroom, it can also be really detrimental to students. That they may be thinking more about what the teacher wants, and I know this happens all the time, instead of really looking at the materials and thinking about what they're bringing to the table. Remember how I mentioned reader response theory last week with Wolfgang Iser, right? The idea that the meaning of the text is somewhere in between the text and the person who's reading it, right? It sits somewhere in here. That idea, I think, again, attaches to this idea of the professional student. If you're so professionalized that you're looking to give the answers that the teacher wants, you're not really making meaning of text. The text that you're reading or the text that you're writing, right? You're looking to create a product instead of engaging in a process. And it's really hard to get us as a society to stop thinking about product and start thinking about process. It really goes against what we're trained to do. We're trained to complete the task, finish the thing, figure it out, get it done. And that really, balks against the writing process, right? The idea that something's never finished, that you're completely, you're continuing engaging in it, and it's changing as your engagement with it changes. Going back to the Wolfgang Iser example with reader response theory, he talks about sometimes you can read a book and hate it, and then years later read that same thing and love it, because of you've changed, what you've brought to the table has changed. I remember this to be really true when thinking about the book Catcher in the Rye, and I'm sure a lot of you have read it. And I remember I read Catcher in the Rye in high school, and I hated that book. And I have to say I was a pretty sheltered high schooler. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand Holden, the main character. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I read that book when I was in my 30s, and let me tell you, I completely did a 180 on how I felt about that book. I loved it. I understood the angst. I understood the stress that that character was underneath. It just completely made sense to me. And again, it's because I had changed. I could bring something else to the table. And I think that's what Jennie Nelson is talking about, right? If we professionalize so much that we don't let students bring their own insights to the material, if we don't let them bring their own ideas, if they can't bring their day-to-day life into the materials and the writing that they're doing, it becomes professionalized. It becomes cookie cutter. It becomes looking for the expectation. So you might be sitting there right now thinking, well, what does Kelly want? How do I get an A? So do I have to format it this way? And I'll talk about form, and you've already seen some notes from me about form. And it's important to a degree. It's more important to think about content, right? I think that it's really important to let students have some room to breathe when it comes to their writing practices and what they're thinking about. You know, there's sometimes I read things that students say and I don't agree with them. Doesn't mean they're wrong, just means that I might have a different experience. Or I may have read different things and have different knowledge than sometimes my students have. It doesn't invalidate the idea that they have. So I want you to start thinking about that a little bit. And that's one of my favorite parts about the article is this idea, professionalize versus process. And you know, I'm always going to go for process. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for finding a process that helps you to be able to engage with the materials and bring something to the classroom that's of you, that's of value to you. And I'm hoping that that will be something that you can think about and continue to be working with your students. I'm sure you're going to share a whole bunch of things within the article that I haven't thought about. This is just one area that's really stood out to me. I'm looking really forward to your responses. So I hope you're having a good day. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and email me. If anything I said in this short video resonates with you, feel free to use any of it in your posts. All right, you all have a great day. Happy week 2. I'll talk with you soon.